Good morning. It's Monday, which means it's a new week of just unorganized chaos, because what else would this be? Is there a plan for this week? I don't know. Truly, I know it's like 7 a.m. and I've already gotten a couple random texts and I'm like, oh, what is happening? I think today, let's start with this. I have changed my yearling setup at the moment. So, you all have been used to seeing my yearlings come inside in the daytime, go outside at night, right? To prevent them from getting any sun bleach, sunburn, so that they look the color that they're supposed to when they go to the sale, because it's just a little more professional, a little bit more nice, right? Phenomenal. That being said, it is now that time of the year where it is chilly. In the morning, I'm officially donning jackets and long sleeve shirts in the morning and then sweating in the afternoon. And that means that a lot of my kids are starting to develop that winter coat. So the threat is no longer sunburn, sun bleach. It is, I do not want woolly mammoths walking around at the sale. And so what we do is when this starts to happen, we will go ahead and change the routine a little bit. So we will bring them in and keep them inside when it's cooler and turn them out when it's a little more hot. So they've been inside at night, but outside for a good chunk of the day. And then right around lunchtime, we will, oh my goodness, why are we fighting? Oh, that reminds me. Hold on, ho. Back up. I blanked. But yeah, so they're inside at night when it's cold, so that they're a little bit less likely to turn into woolly mammoths so quickly. But they're outside during the day. And like, granted, I want them to have a little bit of a winter coat, because obviously winter is coming. I do not want naked, cold children leaving, right? Like, and granted, for some of these horses, they're gonna be going to Florida or whatever. So like for them, it's not like, oh, well, I say that and you're probably like, how do you know some of these horses are going to Florida? It's very standard for a lot of people to get their horses started in Florida, just because it's warm and it's a lot easier. The weather is a little bit more on the same page compared to places like here where, you know, it gets cold and the ground freezes and blah, blah, blah. So a lot of these kids will end up going to Florida. So like, you know, they'll typically get body clipped or something of that nature. I came out here because, I thought I saw something suspicious. I have a down board. The most productive, I just like crossed it for the time being, because we will fix it properly momentarily, but I dropped the board on my foot. That kind of hurt, especially it happened to be the same freaking foot. I got stung by a wasp or something, and oh, that was a whole fucking thing. Like my whole ankle joint is like twice its size right now, all because this tiny little freaking wasp sting or whatever. Anyway, so obviously the yearling stuff has kind of changed right now, but that means technically I think the yearling sale is 3 weeks. Oh wait, 2.5 or 3 weeks. Like, it's right around the corner, which means we're about to start swimming yearlings. And not only that, I just got this is part of why I was like, oh, I don't know what's happening this week, because I got the text that apparently we're going to try and do x-rays starting this week. So we also have a horse that's headed to the digital October sale, which I think is later this week. And when they do the digital sales, we have to, you know, do all the scopes and x-rays anyway, which we've only recently figured all this out. We don't do the digital sales very often. And so I think we also need to do a video, so that's gonna have to get done. And yeah, that's the tea right now. I'm not entirely sure what's all going on as of right now. Where are the babies in this group? Oh, they're up there. But basically a lot of it's going to be, I guess, getting ready for the October sale already. It sounds like we're going to be doing x-rays this week, some scoping. I think I had the farrier this morning, and I hope so, because he's going to pull hind shoes off of Mikasa so we can put her out with a buddy and they can beat each other up. They're not going to beat each other up. They're going to be buddies. don't know what's happening. I think I was told things. I don't know. I got a laundry list when I was leaving the house this morning, but none of it really made sense. If that makes sense. Anyway, farrier, I think today. X-rays sometime this week, maybe potentially. I think we have videos for the digital sale horse. Yeah, I have no clue. We're winging this entire week. I've got no schedule. I'm currently stubborn. So far, all the kiddos that we weaned over the week or on Friday look great. I do gotta go check on one. They said that it looks like maybe she got kicked. Okay. I don't know. That maybe she got kicked because she's got a little bit of a swollen leg. So we're gonna go check on her and then clean stalls. Even though I'm really late today. There was a wreck outside my house, so I couldn't go anywhere for a little bit. And then, why'd I turn this way? This is the most inconvenient way to do this. And then I was just doing things. Always late. I'm never on time. And listen, no matter how hard I try, I'm never on time. That is just how the story goes. Anyway, I will check back in later. I don't think I recorded at all yesterday. It's fine. It was weird. Things were weird. We had the farrier for, I guess they did mares. Okay. And then we had a surprise vet visit to do EVA and Coggins on November babies. And I say surprise because no one told me this was happening. I got a 15-minute heads up. I'm like, thanks. Listen, this is the issue a lot of with planning and scheduling things that drives me up a wall is we have obviously multiple people to do multiple different things, vet, farrier, sometimes there's people to do video stuff or, this and that. So the issue lies in, they like to tell either me or my father, but never both of us on when they like to do things, right? And so they'll send, me a text, like, hey, what's a good day to do x-rays for October horses? And I'm like, I'll be like, anytime this week, just make sure it's an afternoon. Cool, awesome, phenomenal, got that covered. And then typically what happens is the next time I see my father in person, I let him know. I'm like, hey, by the way, this day, after lunch, we're doing x-rays, right? And he'll be like, okay, cool. And I also let the boys know, right? That's typically how this goes. I'm not gonna call him right away and be like, hey, by the way, whenever we see each other next, it's no big deal. We see each other a bajillion times a day. It's cool. Are we alive or are we just taking a nap? It's my favorite game. Not her. Where is she? There she is. Are you okay? Can you go? She's alive. She lifted her head. Can you touch her for me? I just need you to go poke your friend. What? We're gonna go with your napping. Hopefully. Don't do that. Now we're pawing at trying to do a weird stretch. Oh, freaking. I'll get to that story here in a moment. Anyway, so, I'll tell him when things are happening, right? The issue is that the people who contact my father are typically just down for hey, can I be there an hour? Can I do this? And then he forgets to tell us, or they'll schedule it and he forgets to tell us. And so I'll already have plans for the rest of the week. And then I'll get a 15-minute heads up. Oh, by the way, so-and-so's coming. How long have you known about this? A week? I forgot to tell you all. I can tell you forgot to tell. Sir, listen, I know for a fact I likely have ADHD. Do I potentially also have autism? We don't know. I don't have the money to go get diagnosed. And honestly, at this point, what is it going to do? Really, I would love an official diagnosis for the ADHD because I have wondered. Okay, no, I have not wondered. I know in the past that Adderall does actually really help. We're gonna be naughty shadow children for a second. Do you all? Now listen, I went to a private Catholic school. Okay, and which means that levels of naughtiness started small before they got to, you know, high school and they really did naughty things. When we were in like middle school, was it middle school? I think so. I remember we were at a party or something and someone's like, oh, I have Adderall, it'll make you all hyper and more fun, blah blah blah, and we were like, okay, cool. And I know some kids took it and I really don't remember what they were doing, because I know when I took it, I cleaned the entire kitchen and I was immediately like, oh, that would make sense. Anyway, what were we talking about? Scheduling. Okay, so yeah, that's the issue, is that, but like, he doesn't say it right away, and I'm just like, boy, I know I forget shit all the time, because I'm very much the person I'll look at it and like, oh, I'll text him back, and then it's gone. It's like it's never gonna enter. Like, I will never see it again. And so I understand. Yeah, sometimes we forget to tell each other, but boy, what do you mean every time you forget to tell me when we're doing things? Like, oh Lord. So that's my main issue, is different people communicate with different head honchos, and one head honcho is worse about sharing their calendar with the other, and it's confusing. So now here's the setup, I guess. We're having farrier for multiple days this week. Great, awesome. Kind of figured that. Well, they told me the first time that they had the farrier, but I didn't really know if they had started this weekend or not. I'm just here. What else happened? Is this gate actually locked? I was wondering that the other day. Yes, it is. Then, this afternoon, we have x-rays and scope for October yearlings. That's probably going to be a 2-day thing. And then also, this is what pissed me off, is that they scheduled the video for the digital sale mare this afternoon. When did they do this? After I scheduled the vet, and he's like, oh, is it okay? I already did it. No, it wasn't. It's fine, whatever. I'll get over it. And then that's today. And then I think Wednesday, more than likely, I think we have vaccines to give children. Probably more farrier stuff. I think we're attempting to go to Belterra. Maybe. There's supposed to be a horse running. We'll see what happens. What else is happening? Thursday, again, more vaccines. We'll also eventually have to do probably round 2 of x-rays, because we do have enough horses. It's going to take a little time. I already asked the other vet when they plan on doing x-rays as well, because they also need to do x-rays. It's a whole thing. What else is happening this week? I don't know. Chaos. But yeah, so that's a little bit more, I think, of what is happening. It's just, who knows what's happening? I don't know what's happening. All I know is I have 9 miles to E, according to my vehicle. Oh, story. Well, because I saw the baby sleeping, and I don't know. Freaking yesterday, one of the October yearlings, we gave him a bath, right? As we do. And immediately after we gave him a bath, he went to roll. I get it. You feel good. Let's do a little roll. Mother Hover got casted, right? Okay, that happens. It's no big deal. But he got casted in the freaking doorway, I guess. And when I tell you, this boy scared me, because he's definitely given himself a little bit of a hematoma on his chest, because he got caught just right. And I was just like, but like, you could see in real time, like, the hematoma filling. And I was like, boy. I was like, no, like, way to scare me. Anyway, I listen. I'm ready. It's Tuesday and I'm already ready for this week to end. But like, I blame it on the fact that I didn't have a vacation. I didn't have a day off in like a month. And then this weekend was the first like weekend off I had, and I was planning on being really productive. You know, I was gonna, clean and do laundry and start packing and things of that nature, because I kind of need to do all that. And I did laundry. Is my laundry still sitting on my chair? Yep. Because I haven't folded it, I haven't hung it up or anything. And then I just sat in a chair and stared into nothingness for the entirety of the 2 days. So it went well. It went fabulously. I don't know what's happening. I think I've shown you horses like 3 times. It's been a freaking week. To start with, I can't remember if I mentioned it or not. Obviously this is our main farm. Look, horses, congratulations. This is our main farm, right? We do have a client, and it's technically our only farm, but we do have a client that lives like 10-15 minutes down the road, that has his own farm, but he does a lot of, like, he brings a lot of his stuff over here, but he's got his own little spot too. The thing is we've always overseen it, like a little puppet master, and they recently fired their manager, and so they currently don't have a manager. Their new manager is showing up after Breeders' Cup, right? So there's kind of like a little lull in between when someone's overseeing their daily stuff. Well, we would have gotten this phone call anyway, but because they don't currently have a manager, we've obviously been over there a lot more than normal. But they had a mare that spit it out. So she was pregnant and she aborted, like a natural abortion, right? Like not us doing anything. Now, when stuff like that happens, it could be for a variety of reasons. In this case, it looked like the placenta was kind of just wonky and nasty. Anyway, so we had to do all that stuff, right? So that sucks. And then the mare started running a fever, and so we were doing extra stuff for her, and it was a whole thing. She's fine and dandy. It's all great. But obviously that was something that was happening at a different location that we were kind of dealing with at the same time, right? At the same time, was it yesterday or today? I don't even know. So freaking, that was happening. Well, the original plan was Tuesday. I thought we were scoping and x-raying. That's what I was told. They lied to me. It's fine. They ended up just scoping horses, and they were like, oh, we're doing x-rays Wednesday, Thursday. I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. Now when we did the scopes, part of what, like, the reason why we're doing the scopes is a horse has to have a passing grade in order to go to the sale, right? Oh my goodness. And there was only, everyone scoped great, but there was one that he had some pretty bad pharyngitis. For those of you who do not know what pharyngitis is, think of like allergies. They can get like a red throat, they get mucousy, they might have a cough, you know, things of that nature. And they said it could just be that what's affecting him, because it does affect them, right? The way their throat looks. How's your hawk? It looks better, kind of. Still a little swollen. This kid, well, after, I don't know if she kicked herself. I know. I don't know if she kicked herself or got kicked, but her inside of her hawk is a little bit swollen. There's no heat or anything on it, but we've been keeping her in at night and out during the day to see what it's going to do. But I think we're going to x-ray it today. Anyway, just to double check. I just came to see what it looked like. But, yeah. I lost my train of thought. So anyway, they decided to push back x-rays, but we did the scope, and they just said it could just be the pharyngitis, but it wouldn't be a horrible idea to also just go ahead and acupuncture him, just because his throat kind of needs a little jump start, right? They're like, his throat is okay, like it's fine, it's passing, but obviously there's a lot of stuff going on right now. Help him out, right? Make his life easier. And so we were like, okay, cool, fine. Schedule the acupuncturist. Acupuncturist is like, I'll be there Wednesday afternoon. I said, that's cool. Planned for Wednesday. Wednesday morning, we were doing vaccines and the farrier. Cool. So that's on docket. And then in the afternoon, we have x-rays and acupuncturist. Also, I forgot, admittedly, we had a horse running at Belterra on Wednesday for a client that we were going to go watch, right? So I got a text at like 11:50 that they were like, hey, we're going to leave for Belterra at like 1. And I was arms deep in a different situation. I was like, maybe. So anyway, so freaking Wednesday yesterday rolls around. Do all the shots, everything's fine and dandy. Do all the stalls, everything's fine and dandy. I get a phone call that says, hey, can you come help me fix this gate? And I said, yes. So I go up and fix the gate. And on my way to fix the gate, I noticed this mare was kind of standing off to the side alone, away from the rest of the group. And I was like, oh, that's suspicious. I was like, let me fix this gate. It's going to take 2 minutes, and I'll go in, see what she's doing. Because maybe she just needed a break from the buddy, or it's that time of year. We just had another mare abort at a different farm. Maybe she's aborting, or maybe it's a colic, or, you know. Anyway, well, I guess one of the other boys saw the same thing I did, and they went ahead and went out there. And as soon as I finished the gate is when they had just reached her, because she was clear on the other side. And I got sure enough, we get the phone call as I was leaving. And they're like, she's got a ton of blood back behind her tail. And I'm like, great. And so I was like, okay, let's go see what it is before I call the vet, right? I happened to meet them halfway in the field. So like that, because she was taking a long time to kind of get to the gate. And so I meet them halfway out, and I saw her from a good distance away, and I saw the way she was breathing, and I immediately called the vet, and I was like, I hadn't even looked at her tail at that point. I was like, something else is also wrong. I was like, she is in clear distress. So, you know, call the vet, and they're like, I'm like, hey, welcome back. I have an emergency. I don't know. I haven't really looked fully yet. It's either a colic / choke and or abortion issue. So like that, I was like, it could be one thing, it could be two things, it could be multiple things. I'm not entirely sure. I just see her out in the field. I'll bring her in and give her a better idea. Like look over her and get a better idea. But you know, that's current suspect. Anyway, brought her in, gave her meds, and I'm very used to palpating mares when they're in labor or close to labor, and so it is definitely different sticking an arm in a mare and, you know, trying to figure out what exactly is going on. But I kind of only went wrist deep just to kind of see if I could get an idea of what was going on, and I was like, I don't really know what I'm feeling, but I don't like it. I was like, and at first I was like, I don't know if I'm touching a torn placenta or not, but I'm touching something. I was like, maybe it's just wall. I don't know. It's a different ball game when they're in labor because everything's wide open compared to when they're not, right? And so I did that. I gave her Banamine, xylazine, checked her, and there wasn't really anything else I could do until the vet got here. Luckily, the vet got here really quick. She was like, I'll be there in 15 minutes. I think she got there in like 7. So we addressed the colic situation first because we needed her to breathe. Like she was acting like it was choke, but there was nothing in her airway that I could find. We did, you know, stick a tube down her and drain her stomach as much as we could, because horses can't throw up, which honestly, it's a really big issue. Horses can't throw up. It kills them. Horses are not made to live. I'm gonna be blunt. So we tubed her, and we got a bunch of stuff out, and it was old, and it smelled bad. And then we're like, okay, she looks like she's breathing a little bit better, but let's see what else is going on. Another vet showed up around this time, and so there's multiple vets there at this time, and we start scanning her a little better, and we're like, so she was still pregnant. We don't know why there was a ton of blood and a ton of discharge. It could have been from the stress of the colic, but it was a pretty bad colic. Another vet was on the line too, and they were like, it sounds like even if you take her to the clinic and open her up, she's not gonna make it. Her heart rate was insanely high. She had a slight temp, which isn't surprising. But like, even with all the pain meds and everything and the tranquilizer she was on, she should have relaxed, and she wasn't. So we unfortunately made the call to put her down, and so that I was dealing with all that when I got the message of, hey, don't forget, we're leaving at this time. I was like, oh fuck. And so anyway, that really sucked. But you know, we get all that done. I start heading over to Belterra. I warn the vets, I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna be here when you do x-rays, by the way. They're like, boo. I'm like, I know. And I told her, I was like, oh, but the acupuncturist is coming. They all interned under the same vet. And so I was like, if you want, if he has nothing better to do, you can harass him and he can babysit you all. And so they did. So he acupunctured my kids, and then he just harassed everyone else while I was gone, from my understanding. So, and then I went to Belterra, and we lost, and we got home, and I made sure everyone else was still alive on the farm, and then I drank a significant amount of alcohol and went to bed. That was yesterday. So today is today. I think we have vaccines in the morning for the second half of the babies. I gotta pull a Coggins for someone who's headed to Florida, and x-rays this afternoon, which I will be here for. Are we all caught up now? Freaking have horses, they said. It'll be fun, they say. So honestly, you have to think, we have a ton of horses, right? We have over 100 something horses here, and then plus there's another 25 at the other place that we're managing. You expect something bad to happen every once in a while. They're horses. They're naturally suicidal/homicidal creatures. It sucks when they don't spread it out though, and have like one here, or one here. Like, you know, we always say it comes in threes. Why can't it be 3 times you scatter throughout the year? No, it's always like 3 times back to back to back. And I'm like, great. And you're probably like, oh, you've only had 2. We had an earlier third. What is happening? We're not x-raying that baby. Okay. Yeah, and so we already had a third, so I'm hoping we're done. You know, I hope all the bad juju flushed itself out before we get to October. Because October is 2 weeks away. 3 weeks away. So much is happening. I'm just here, man. Oh my goodness. We are all so excited today. Oh goodness, I missed what happened there. Guess whose first day it is on the machine? Boing! Listen, I feel like I haven't filmed anything for you all because I genuinely haven't. It's been so crazy and so weird. And honestly, I also haven't filmed any like after farm time stuff, which is typically when I ride and things of that nature. Admittedly, I don't know if I'm just in a slump or whatever. I have just not really been in the mood to ride the past couple weeks, and so yeah, listen, this is a great thing about having a hot walker. So this kid, I'm trying to hopefully get him listed for sale. I need to get some more riding videos. I need to do that. He's a little chunky right now and he's lacking a bit of top line. Not like in a neglect situation. He just needs muscle, you know? This is my yearling that I'm keeping for racing. Because of her size, the decision has been we're going to send her to get broke. Well, I've kind of slightly started her, but really I'm going to send her to get properly broke in the spring of 2026. They're only going to do 30, 60 days, and then I'm going to tell them whenever you think she's ready to come back home, let me know. And then I'm going to just kind of keep her at the farm, and I don't plan on sending her back to the track until early mid 3-year-old year, right? Purely because she itty bitty. This kid is about 16-1, 16-2. Bro, turn around. And obviously, and she's big. She's almost 17 hands. She's itty bitty. Itty bitty. She is probably she's either the smallest or the second smallest yearling on the whole property at the moment. And honestly, I was super well aware that, listen, she is a little, not a cross traffic. What is she? A gift box. She's tiny and she's a gift box. No one's going to buy her. Like, no one's going to raise their hand. It was going to be a waste to try and take her to the sale. And so, yeah, we just decided to keep her. We're just going to wait and see if she develops a little bit later on. And so really now is kind of about that time. I want to start actually putting some miles on her and getting her not ready to ride. I just want to have her do things, right? Like, obviously the yearlings have been in sale prep. She hasn't been because she's not going to the sale. And so with me not really wanting to ride, even though I really need to start riding him and, you know, get more videos, and her just needing to just start doing something, you know, being an active kid, because really she's just been on paddock turnout right now. I figured hot walker time. Woo! And also her, because when is it? I guess 2-3 weeks ago for you all now. I don't know. Listen, I'm 2 weeks behind on editing YouTube videos, but I'm trying to catch up. But unfortunately, I put down my jumper. He was my jumper hopeful. About 2-3 weeks ago, right? And admittedly, I had listed Peach for sale when she first came off the track, and like, I had someone come and they vetted her, and as soon as I saw who the vet was, I knew that they weren't going to pass her, just because we have a little bit of issues with that vet. And sure enough, they did not pass her, even though I sent the x-rays to 2 or 3 other vets. And I was like, I want you to look at this and tell me what you think. And all of them said the same thing of, this is a non-issue. Why? What did the other vet say? And the other vet was like, I'm surprised this horse is even sound. She shouldn't be sound. She's not going to hold up, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I was a little bitter about that. And so I was kind of like, well, I'll just give her winter off, because I was mad. Winter was awful. I was like, I'll give her winter off, start her under saddle, and then put the miles on her and put her for sale. And then, of course, fast forward, I was dealing with issues with my jumper for a little bit, and so I kind of had it in the back of my mind of maybe I don't sell her as like a just in case. And then I ended up having to put down my jumper. And so she kind of got awkwardly promoted. And so she unless something changes in life, she's basically a permanent resident. And she is my new jumper hopeful. So that's the tea. I say jumper, eventing is what I'm hoping to do. But yeah, obviously she's been on the hot walker before, 'cause she's been in sale prep. She's been a racehorse. She knows what it is. Same thing with him. This is her first time. Obviously you could see, took her a little second. But honestly, when I have a newer horse like this and I have the ability to put older horses on, I always do put them in the middle, because then they're just going to follow around and be great. Honestly, the struggle is that these kids, obviously their stride is a little bit bigger than hers. And so I do kind of have to match it a little bit awkwardly. I kind of put it a little slower than I wanted to, but I just wanted her to get the hang of it. goodness. But yeah, loosely planned for that little gray filly. If I think she'll work out and pan out, then yeah, I'm gonna send her to the track as like a late 3-year-old. If not, if she doesn't grow at all, I don't know. Like, I have a small mare that like raced 50 something times, so like obviously that's not the. Some people will be like, oh, they're too small for racing. That's not it. It's genuinely them being too slow or too short-strided and them not being able to keep up with the competition, right? This is something you see that goes 6 furlongs, but probably not something that goes up against this, because this is more of a 2-turn horse, right? Right, you get it. So realistically, it's just kind of a matter for me of what she shows potential-wise as she matures a little bit later. Like, she's a later maturing horse, that is what it is. But yeah, you're doing very well. I'm actually very proud of you. I thought, honestly, she did great, because there's some yearlings, when you first introduce them to this, you know, you have this door open and everything. They don't want to walk in because, you know, think of it like almost like a trailer. You know, they're like, oh, this is new. I have to walk through this thing and it's a whole thing and blah, blah, blah. And so some of them don't really want to walk through it, new footing and all that stuff. She walked right in. Not a single problem. I was like, good. I'm glad you're brave enough, because I was alone. I was like, I don't know. I was like, I could shove you in, I guess, backwards if I needed to. But I was like, I really hope you just walk on in, because it makes my life significantly easier. Oh, yes. Anyway, I'm gonna continue editing YouTube videos, because that's what I need to do. And hopefully I will get the desire to ride here again soon. first things first. Look at all the cutest. That is the protector, the in charger, and everybody had to take it with the naps. I like how they're all right on top of each other too. Like they don't have plenty of room to lay down. It's fine. Anyway. I was going through and editing and realized I accidentally deleted my this is what the plan is for the day videos. It's fine. It's cool. Anyway, so obviously through the rest of the week, we kind of just had the farrier, the vetting with x-rays. We did a few shows to look at some babies, or to show people their babies. And then on Friday, we went over to Kingland for their opening day and kind of just chilled out there for a couple races with a buddy of ours. And then I didn't go Saturday. I thought about going Saturday. And then I was just I was so burnt out because I hadn't had a proper break in so long. I was just I'm going to just rot in bed. So that's what I did Saturday. And then Sunday I ended up going, because I just wanted to go and hang out. There was a horse in the first race, the one horse, the one that I kept showing, that we had raised her as a baby and then sold her for the client, and she was there. So I was there to watch her and see how she did. And then the 10, the big gray filly, is a niece, I believe. I think it's technically niece to one of my personal mares, and so that's also kind of why I went. And then I debated about hanging out long enough to watch the stake races, and someone convinced me with alcohol that yes, I should stay and watch the stake races. And so I got to watch the Spinster, which is a prep for the Breeders' Cup distaff, and at that point we knew we potentially had someone going to the distaff, so we were I was let's check out the competition. And so I got to watch Torpedo, Anna, Nitrogen, Jin, and all them. And, yeah, got to see that race. And that, honestly, as soon as that race finished, I was drunk texting people. I was hey, just a thought. I definitely think we should go, considering how that race played out. So yeah, that's just how the week went. It kind of started a little rough and a little chaotic. Freaking horses every day. So yeah, I'm playing catch up. I know you're probably you're blue. I'm blue. I dyed my hair. It's fine. Anyway, that's all that happened this week. Just non-organized chaos as the horses will have it. So I will see you all next round.